Welcome to another tutorial by Longhorn Physics. In this problem we want to talk about kinetic energy, the energy of motion. So we have a 1,000 kilogram car reaching a speed of 50 meters per second. So let's draw a little sketch here of the problem. And so in order to figure out the kinetic energy, we need the equation. We need to understand the units and the symbols and how they match so that we can set up the data properly in order to calculate the problem. So in all my tutorials I like to go over the equation and all the definitions and so forth. So let's start with the equation for kinetic energy. It's 1/2 times the mass times the speed squared. So next we'll go over the units and the symbols and definitions, and then we'll move on to the calculation. So let's talk about the different units and symbols used in the equation 1/2 mv squared. And real quick, give you a chance to look at the terminology. Feel free to stop the video at any time and take some notes. So let's start with the symbol for kinetic energy, which is Ke, and the units for kinetic energy are joules. Then we have 1/2, and then we have the mass, which is our symbol in the equation, and the units are kilograms. And then velocity, or speed, we always use V for speed also in physics, and the units is always meters per second. And again, the difference between velocity and speed is a vector and needs direction. Speed is simply a scalar. So notice the terminology below. So let's come back to the problem and apply what I call the circle label method to help us organize the data in order to make the calculation much easier. So now that we reviewed the units and the symbols, what you do in solving a physics problem is you scan through the problem and start playing Sesame Street, matching the units with the symbols. So for example, here we go, a 1,000 kilograms, so there's kilograms, so I circle it and then I label it with the letter M for mass, and I keep reading through the problem. Reaches a speed of 50 meters per second, so that's my speed. So again, speed is V in physics, and then I'm looking for the kinetic energy, which is going to be joules. Alright, now I have my data, my circle label method set up so that I can now put it in what I just call a T-bar here. On the left side here, we put all the knowns, and on the right side I put all the unknowns. So our knowns are the mass and the speed, and I'm looking for the kinetic energy. So next thing I want to do is, I can see my data. I want to plug into the equation. So I have 1/2, which is just 0.5, and we're going to multiply that by the mass, which is 1,000. And then we're going to multiply that by the speed squared. Be careful, only square the speed, not the whole 0.5 times 1,000. So when we do that, we get, alright, so when we multiply 0.5 times 1,000 times the speed squared, we end up with 1,250,000 joules of energy.